Hello, and welcome to the Time Is Now podcast. My name is Jody Albert Moss. Come with me on a walk as I explore the area around my house, the many different things that present themselves. We'll go on a journey. Here in southern Ontario, very close to Toronto, I live in a town called Milton. We seem to be having a warm spell. So I'm going to take advantage of it and get outside. What I really would like to share with people is that when you're on your spiritual path, there are no perfect conditions. You don't need to have that perfectly silent environment to meditate. We have to adapt ourselves to walk our path in the world we live in. So you can hear there's background noise. I live next to a 4-lane highway. Many trucks go by every day, cars. There's nothing I can do about it. We came to this world to experience this world, and I believe it's part of our journey to find our way through it, to find our way back to the center, to that place within ourselves where we are strong, where we are knowing, where we are self-realized. As I walk down the little walkway that they've made, I come upon a little bush, kind of like a tree bush. It's called red willow. It's got a red bark. It's really common. And I'm reminded of a story some traditional people shared with me, that you harvest the red willow after the last thunderstorm in the fall and before the first thunderstorm in the spring. So that's your window of opportunity to harvest some red willow. Now the red willow where I am, the bushes, they have heavy stalks. That's why I say they're like a bush tree, but they're no taller than about, I'd say 3 to 4 feet, and the bark is red. So what I'll do is I will harvest some. I put an offering down. Traditionally, I like to use tobacco. So I put a little tobacco down, and I'm aware of the spirits, the elementals, the energies that take care of the land. And I'm respectful. And I offer that to them. And I'll take some cuttings of the red willow. And what I'll do is I'll go back to my house and I peel off the red part of the bark. And underneath there's a light green kind of color, soft, spongy kind of inner bark, I guess you could say. And I scrape that off. I don't want the wood and I don't want the outer cover, the red. All I want is the light green color, which will actually dry and turn white. And I scrape that off and I let it dry and I use that. I make incense with it. I use it for incense and I also use it for offerings. Like if I was going to, well, even when I take the red willow, I could put some red willow back down, offering it love and compassion and explaining what I want to use it for. So as I walk down farther, the little walkway actually takes me under the 4-lane highway. And in the background, you can hear the stream. It's not really frozen over. There are spots where the open water is, but because we're having a warm spell, it's all melting. So I like to come down here, and in the fall the salmon were here, and it's kind of my little getaway place. Where's your little getaway place? Do you have a place that you go to be alone, to be with your thoughts, to meditate? I like my getaway place to be out in nature. I'm a firm believer that we benefit greatly by being out in nature in that natural process of recharging, which our body already knows how to do, the exchange between the natural energies in ourselves. I personally believe it makes us healthier, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Just take a second. Listen to the stream. Listen to the traffic. Listen to the wind. All the sounds are overlapping. There is no beginning or end. Really, if you close your eyes and just listen, there's no solids, just movement of sound. Notice how the river gets more and more quiet as I walk farther and farther away. Isn't that what the energies are like? We have our physical bodies, but we have our energy bodies. We have our auras. Everything has energy around it. The trees, the land. There is no solid. We're just part of the whole. We are all one. You know, again, going back to my traditional friends, they'll say prayers, give thanks, and they say, all my relations. Think about that for a minute. All my relations, not your physical relations, that's part of it. But the rocks, the trees, the land, the air, the spirits, the elementals, all my relations. That's something to think about for a while. As I'm walking up from the river, I've left the walkway that the city created, and I'm walking up a grass hill with trees on the one side where the river is, and the highway on my other side. And I'm walking up a trail that the animals have made. With all the development around where I live, there's no place for the animals, the coyotes, the wildlife. So they come in behind my house and down this little grass hill, and it actually will take them underneath the highway. So they are able to adapt. I'm friends with them, so I share my property with them, and at many times we've had deer here. We actually, when we first moved here, had a baby deer born here. We have coyotes. They all seem to share the space. There's a lesson for us there, that we have to share our space. Learn to get along, to coexist. And as we go up higher, the noise from the highway picks up again. I guess there never is any really quiet places. If you've ever been out in the forest at night, it can be a rather noisy place. Lots of tree frogs, insects, animals. It's like they all come alive. Sound is a very important part of our reality. We can listen to it and we can create it in the form of toning, singing, lots of different ways we can create sound. And I believe, moving forward with the new energies, sound is a very important part of that. As we continue our walk, I'm walking by in the back of my property. I've got some stones, just random stones, and I've tied strings to them, and I hang them in the trees. It's a very intuitive process. but stones help to harmonize the energies in our living environments. So I've got them hanging in trees around the property. This used to be an old farm at one time, so there's like the fence posts with the wire fencing. I put stones on top of those fence posts, which again helps to harmonize the energy. The time is now for us to really interact with our living environment. You know, if you live in a high-rise apartment building on the 30th floor, you can still connect with the energies of the forest, of the trees, of the rivers. It's incredible. You just have to visualize, and your mind will take you there. It will tune in, and you'll receive those energies. As I'm looking around now, even in the winter, we've had some snow and some cold, the mullein plants are still growing. I've had mullein growing all over this land. I harvest the leaves. I don't take it all, and I do give an offering, but I harvest the mullein leaves and I dry them out. And then when I need them, I cut them up, just coarsely, and I make a tea out of the leaves. And it's good for your lungs and your breathing. It helps. So I encourage everybody to maybe look up mullein and see where you can find it. If you can't find it in the wild, you can order it online. But it's a very important herb. They say the herbs that we need will show up close to our living environment. So we won't have to go a long way to get them. We just have to be aware of them, to recognize them, to see what's different, and take advantage of it. So the herbs that are best for us will be close to us. So all mine grow on this property where I am. I'm fortunate that where we rent this house, it's on like 2 acres of land, and they've built the city all around me, but we still have that little space where the herbs can grow, the berries can grow. I'm blessed to have a lot of hawthorn trees. I love the hawthorn energy. It's just a wonderful thing. Again, I encourage people just to get out and walk and look and be aware of what's around you. Thank you, and I wish everybody to have a wonderful day and look forward to my next podcast.